Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game between Happy and FoCuS. This game taking place here on Autumn Leaves. Good to see you. Haven't tuned in a while. These maps look new to me. Yes, they are new. Autumn Leaves and Shallow Grave are relatively new maps, I guess, in the history of WarCraft 3. Autumn Leaves you should be fairly familiar with. There is an expansion directly to the north and south of your starting location. It's an aggressive expansion as you're expanding into your opponent. There's also a further expansion that you can go to the east or west. Both expansions are possible depending on how you are trying to play the game. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down in this matchup. FoCuS versus Happy, Undead versus Orc. As Altar of Storms, Orc Burrow, and Warmill, probably indicating that it will be Farseer Headhunters. Barracks should be placed down right there. There you have it. Farseer, most likely the hero of choice, as it allows for those Spirit Wolves to do a bit of harassment early on. The Blade Master, no longer the hero of choice in the matchup. And I really missed the Farseer, and also now I'm enjoying the multitude styles of Orc that is coming about in this day and age. Coming back off to the north here, we're still looking at Tomb of Relics, Ghouls, and a Death Knight. What would we have expected? Well, would we have expected anything else to come from the Emperor Happy, as he's been playing Undead at such a high level and so consistently for so long? Down to the south here, we're going to be looking at a tech to tier 2 momentarily, as well. Once enough lumber is going to be gathered here, that war mill proximity does help with lumber collecting, as the peons don't need to travel nearly as far to drop off their, well, cargo. Or their ship. Is it a cargo? Is a shipment? Their collection? Well, you guys know what I mean. Death Knight making its rounds out here, perhaps going to try and do a quick Rod of Necromancy, get some skeletal minions, and then continue to engage against that Forest Troll Berserker. Trying to really burst down that Forest Troll Berserker. Death Knight playing very aggressively and quickly, opting to use a Death Coil there, and now finishing off the remainder of the creep camp. But the Farseer is already here to get in a bit of damage. Farseer gets the last hit on one of those Forest Trolls, and now continue to rack things up. How much damage will be had, as we're looking at more and more damage added in here. All right, trying to finish off some damage onto that Death Knight. Death Knight already down to half life, as the Farseer trying to get away, and there is just a sea of ghouls just around here. No Nerubian Tower, trying to double back around, and we can see one of those skeletal minions getting taken down. Resummoning the Spirit Wolves to make sure no experience given to the Death Knight, as the Farseer and the Death Knight exchanging blows early on. Headhunter currently out here on the battlefield, perhaps trying to poke apart, as this is exactly what FoCuS' style of play is. He has the smaller army right now, significantly smaller, but knows that as long as he's just constantly harassing his opponent, he can make sure that his opponent is unable to get all of the experience that he wants. As his army gets larger and larger, if enough damage is stuck to that Death Knight, the Death Knight will end up getting taken down. All right, we're looking at perhaps a Ghoul or two trying to retreat back out. You can see that Ghoul down to 65 hit points. Death Knight could have Death Coil trying to save, but instead gonna opt for just returning that Ghoul back to Blight. Death Knight gonna easily get a surround off, trying to finish off some of those wolves. There's that resummoning, as the Death Knight able to push back that Farseer. Farseer doesn't really have that much damage on him. Has taken no damage at all, but the Death Knight still able to use every hit point and still be aggressive. All right, Happy doesn't care that the Farseer is nearby and saying, you know what, I'm going to creep. It is your job to punish me. And so far, Happy has been able to play his game still fairly well, even though his Death Knight is up against the ropes, taking a bit more damage than I believe he would like. All right, Death Coil for the save once more. Death Knight down to 129 hit points. Ghoul is going to try and back away here. Skeletal minions could end up getting taken down, but after all of that harassment and effort, all he really did was take down one creep and one skeletal minion. There's a quick dark use of that ritual dagger off of a skeletal minion to get a little bit more roundabout heals. Ogre Magi taken down. Cloak of Shadows picked up, and a Tome of Intelligence +2 for a bit of bonus damage again. All right, Death Knight still regenerating some hit points. With regeneration and Unholy Aura, the Death Knight still has a lot of hit points to try and make up and recover. Meanwhile, Farseer trying to make a bit of a play here and get some damage. Another Creep Jack on the Happy, as we do see a replenishment potion, exactly what the doctor ordered for that Death Knight, who needs mana and hit points together. Quickly gonna pick it up, but now racking up quite a bit of damage. Death Coil trying to save a low hit point Ghoul here, as the Death Knight forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal. The Chain Lightning not in time, as the Farseer was hoping to really finish off that Death Knight there. Death Knight able to back away and then using another Ritual Dagger charge, healing back up once more. Farseer of FoCuS taking this opportunity to clear up some creep camps of his own. Meanwhile, we are already teching the tier 3. We are getting up a Tauren Chieftain, building up the Bestiary. I don't see any Spirit Lodge as of yet, but we could be going even to dual Bestiary for Raiders and Kodo Beasts. Always important. Meanwhile, Happy now teching the tier 3 as well, getting up that Lich, and you can see his base is just rather sparse. Going to finally start summoning up that Slaughterhouse to get in some Obsidian statues. Obsidian statues, Crypt Fiend transition. The Death Knight now finally sitting at level 3 as we hit the 6-minute mark of this game. Tauren Chieftain opting to go for Endurance Aura first, trying to increase damage output for the entire army and move across the map just slightly faster. We should be getting in a couple of Raiders as soon as that Bestiary is done. There is one Raider, there is that Ensnare to try and, well, stop that Death Knight in its tracks. Alright, Death Coil finishes off one Headhunter. Meanwhile, Death Knight continuing to try and back away. Are we going to see any sort of, well, no, stop there? We are not, but the Death Knight still trying to stick around, even though there is some, well, minor wolf harassment. Alright, more Orc Burrows getting established and set up. We're going to be at 51 supply on the high end. Farseer sitting at level 3. Meanwhile, Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 1, hoping to get to level 2. Lich is out here onto the battlefield. Thank you for the sub. Every sub does definitely help you. DL Dwyer, thank you for the sub, as the Lich and the Death Knight now making its rounds back out and hoping to get in a little bit more experience out here onto the battlefield. Tauren Chieftain still only sitting at level 1. Once it gets to level 2 and has access to Stomp, that is going to be a big power increase, as well as the Farseer purposely backs away. Thank you for the bits. Definitely going to be able to support the channel and keep it around alive and well. Thank you. Thank you for the bits. Every bit does definitely help. 1,000 bits for me. Yes. Forest Troll Berserker going to go ahead and get taken down, as well as the Tauren Chieftain does have level 2. Going to get closer to level 3 and increase the radius of that Stomp as well. That's going to be a big deal if that Tauren Chieftain can get to level 3. We are looking at a Kodo Beast joining it on the battle, as well as the Berserker upgrade now already done. Meanwhile, Enraged Wildkin could easily get taken on. A couple of easy purges coming across those units, as well as the Null Overseer, while getting ensnared. Alright, Enraged Wildkin continuing to fight. Null Assassin gonna easily get finished off. Meanwhile, off to the north here, Lich is sitting at level 2, Death Knight sitting at level 3. A quick reveal using, well, who did the reveal? Was that by the Lich? It looked like there was a... Yeah, that crystal ball was used. Alright, so the reveal used there, as the Tauren Chieftain now is sitting at level 3. Dark Ranger as that third and final hero. Silence to try and stop that Tauren Chieftain. Meanwhile, Shadowhunter getting in Hex to try and perhaps stop that Dark Ranger from getting that silence off. Alright. This is going to be absolutely big plays here. Lich does have that Orb of Corruption. We're going to be trying to get into a big fight, and now Happy absolutely catching FoCuS in a transition move, taking down 2 Berserkers straight out of the gate. Ghouls trying to engage here. There goes a Stomp finally, but not really hitting that many units, as a Raider gets taken down as well. 45 supply compared to 43. FoCuS trying to rebuild up his army and trying to take down some of those units. Tauren Chieftain doesn't have that much mana, as the Shadowhunter hasn't been able to do much either. All right, a little bit of damage there. You can see that the Dire Wolves are getting in a little bit of critical strike damage, but there isn't that many Crypt Fiends to try and hit either. Death Knight coming back around. Are we going to see a Death Coil? Yes, we are. Are we going to see a Stomp? No Stomp as of yet. Silence onto that Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain trying to stick around, trying to stay alive. Scroll of Speed. Is it going to be enough? Yes, it is. Able to back away and now using a Healing Salve charge. Tauren Chieftain still has to keep that distance. Dark Ranger trying to get a final shot off here as the Hexes have not really made that big of a difference overall. Kotobe's trying to retreat back. Does have a Ghoul in the belly as the Tauren Chieftain is still healing up from that Healing Salve. All right, creeps in between the two armies. Death Knight could try and go for a Death Coil, trying to finish off the Sasquatch. Who's going to get the experience? It looks as though it's Silence being brought over again, and the Death Knight looks like he got the experience there, as I don't think the Tauren Chieftain got it at all. Tauren Chieftain still has an Ankh of Reincarnation, going to absorb quite a bit of damage, and Ankh of Reincarnation will get him back up again. And then we're going to look at the Death Knight. Death Knight gets taken down. A bit of commitment to try and take down the Tauren Chieftain, only to see a quick resurrection there on that Ankh of Reincarnation. Tauren Chieftain trying to chase back after all of those units. That Endurance Aura movement speed bonus should help, especially as there is no Unholy Aura on that Undead army currently, as that Death Knight was taken down. Death Knight going to be resurrected at the tavern here. Obsidian statues making that resurrection at the tavern not nearly as painful, as the Obsidian statue replenishing some of those hit points and that mana. Death Knight had a potion of invulnerability but was unable to use it, as he was hexed right there, as the Shadow Hunter now adding in a bit of survivability, but we could have a Creepjack from the north. Units trying to make their way back away. There's a bit of slow here, as the Shadow Hunter does have a pendant of energy, trying to heal up some more of those units. There goes a Frost Nova, Icy Blast, finishing off some of those units, and another Berserker going to get taken down. Ensnare is now finally being brought onto all of those Crypt Fiends. Crypt Fiends could get taken down. Level 3 now on that Lich. Level 2 Frost Nova now on the table, as the Tauren Chieftain does need to try and use some of those Scrolls of Healing to keep up all of these units alive and well. Units still trying to retreat back. There goes another unit there. I believe the creeps, there is no more creeps down to the south, as they are retreating back to their respective corners. Big plays around. 50 supply for FoCuS. More Berserkers being trained. FoCuS also healing up on that Tauren Chieftain. Has a lot of hit points to try and recover. Meanwhile, Lich is at level 3. Dark Ranger sitting at level 2. Death Knight sitting at level 3, but they are all relatively low on mana and need to get quite a bit more mana, as even the Obsidian statue is currently running low. New Obsidian statue, yep, is going to get trained up there, but it's going to be quite some time before it joins in on the battlefield and is able to offer a lot of support. Coming back to the other side of the map, FoCuS also clearing up the Granite Golem creep camp on the far side, hoping to finish and take down this Granite Golem creep camp. There's some of that Berserker Frenzy, able to get in some bigger damage onto those Granite Golems with that faster attack speed. All right. More faster attack speed there. Granite Golem gets taken down. Shadow Hunter getting up to level 3. Tauren Chieftain picking up Legion of Doomhorn, able to get slightly faster movement speed in addition, and also having a little bit of natural regeneration of health for the win as well. Is the Death Knight now going to make a move out across the map? We'll see how all of this unfolds in just a moment. Farseer trying to get into position here, does have level 2 Chain Lightning, gonna opt to try and take down this Slaughterhouse. Raiders are here as well. Damage could rack up pretty quickly. Meanwhile, in the center portion, it looks as though we could see a scroll of, no scroll of Town Portal on the Death Knight, but the Dark Ranger gonna go ahead and try and retreat back with all of these units. All right, all of the units have appeared down to the south. Scroll of Speed for a tactical retreat, as the Slaughterhouse was not finished off. 50 supply compared to 47. FoCuS with a slight supply advantage going up against Happy. And also, hero levels are nearly identical. It really is going to come down to micro and execution. Tauren Chieftain with that pendant of energy, having a decent amount of mana now, going to try and engage in that frontline position. Are we going to see a stomp right there? There's a stomp across multiple units, getting in a big stun and, well, putting his foot down. Shadow Hunter is in trouble, gets a scroll of healing and ends up surviving just barely. Now also using that regeneration. Are we going to see a little bit more healers? The Shadow Hunter keeping the army, or trying to keep the army together. There's level 4 now on that Tauren Chieftain as well, as he absorbs a little bit of damage. All right, Tauren Chieftain needs to stay alive, needs a potion of lesser invulnerability. Scroll of Town Portal transferred over. Shadow Hunter could have some bad days. No, there's going to be a heal bounce as well, as all of the units back away. All right. Tactical retreat and able to save all of his units. FoCuS did a great job of minimizing the losses there, especially with Happy trying to, well, give a departing death to any of those units. We saw Death Coil, Frost Novas. Still, the Obsidian Statue providing mana, and you better believe the Death Knight and the Lich will have plenty of mana for that upcoming fight. FoCuS using the tiny Great Hall to establish up an expansion, setting up a second watchtower here. If the second watchtower is operational, you better believe this expansion will be that much more difficult to take down because of that fortified armor. Will Happy have enough gas in the tank to finish off this expansion and come away with the victory? That is the question at hand. But the Tauren Chieftain is winning slightly in the hero level race with that level 2 endurance aura now. All right, off to the north here. All right, Watchtower is going to be able to be finished. It looks like it is going to be finished. It needs to be repaired, and it is not going to be repaired in time. The Death Knight able to catch this expansion and this Watchtower right before it was able to be completed. And well, what a difference fortified armor versus no armor makes. Death Knight, Death Knight getting stunned here. Death Knight potion of invulnerability used in time, should be able to get off a couple of quick and important death coils. Meanwhile, the Tauren Chieftain still trying to dive on in here, gonna throw down a stomp. Death Knight could try to get in a couple of death coils to finish or to save some of these other heroes. Dark Ranger could be in a little bit of trouble as the Tauren Chieftain still has plenty of mana. Death Coil, Frost Nova, healing wave onto that Tauren Chieftain. Tauren Chieftain still currently silent, trying to continue this fight here as the Tauren Chieftain backs away at 215 hit points. Lich continuing to get some big damage. Healing wave, saving that Shadow Hunter. You saw that Shadow Hunter so low on hit points, able to survive temporarily as the Lich is still chasing after that Shadow Hunter, who's now down to 14 hit points. Fighting next to the Watchtower. All of these units are just trying to hide and stay alive to fight another day. Shadow Hunter doesn't have a healing salve charge as of yet. Tauren Chieftain sitting at 300 hit points as these units are all trying to get healed back up. The expansion. Well, the expansion is absorbing a little bit of damage here. You can see the Death Knight now being forced to back away. Death Knight has to be careful, down to 230 hit points, continuing to get poked, and now, well, could end up taking a Chain Lightning from the Farseer here, and then end up being low on hit points. Shadow Hunter now trying to catch up a little bit here. That Watchtower about to get taken down. Raiders perhaps going to get a couple of ensnares as we see the Shadow Hunter quickly getting taken down, but so is the Death Knight. FoCuS comes out ahead in that battle, knowing as Happy gives the GG, knowing that he was unable, or knowing that Happy knowing that he was unable to overcome the economic advantage now that his Death Knight has fallen. FoCuS had a number of close shaves with his heroes, escaping with the Tauren Chieftain and his Shadow Hunter in the teens multiple times, and well, able to get away and not allow Happy to build up too much of an advantage. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you guys thought about this game in the comments below.